Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am coming to you with my favorite all-time horror films for the month of October, for the Halloween season. Yeah, so I made a list. I didn't really want... this was a very hard list because I really love horror movies. I'm like a horror movie fan since I was little. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Okay, so the first horror movie that I love that I have to watch during the Halloween season is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. That's just a classic horror. It's like almost has a documentary feel. It's very real. It looks very realistic. It's done in a way that makes it look like these people really are out there, that this really happened, and it just looks very real. It's real gritty. Anyways, it's one of my favorites, and I also want to give Texas Chainsaw 2 a shout out. That's a kind of a lesser known one. It has Dennis Hopper in it. I really love it. It sort of has a comedy angle, but maybe people won't think that. It's mostly horrific, but there's just some things that are funny in it. And then I also liked Leatherface. I saw that in the theater. Not the new one, I think, with Stephen Dorff. There was a remake recently. That was like last year. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the very old one with Viggo Mortensen. And that one a lot of people haven't seen, and I like it because they reference DeLand, Florida, and that's like right up the street. And also because Viggo Mortensen's in it, and he is so fine in that. So that is why. I also want to, honorable mention goes out to the remake with Jessica Biel. I think that was a fantastic remake, if that's what it was. I just saw that recently again, and that one is brutal. That one is brutal. I mean, there's the kills in that one are really brutal, and but it has that dirty feel. They have like a dirty, gross likeness. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, they put body parts in the chili, and it's just that family, that Sawyer family. Okay. Anyways, let me get to the next one. Okay, the next one of my favorites is Jeepers Creepers, the original with Trish and Derry. Yeah, that's the Jeepers Creepers, man. One of the best villains ever. He is so... Is he not the best? I mean, what is he? He's like a man, half like lizard, half reptile, half monster. He has wings, and the part that's the worst about Jeepers Creepers is the wings. Yeah, because he can fly. I mean, I'd put Jeepers Creepers man up against Michael Myers any day of the week, because Jeepers Creepers man can just... Also, he has a house and a car. Well, it's not a car. It's like a van. Not even a van. It's like a big kill machine on wheels. It's a kill machine on wheels. And he has a house. And so he's got like stuff. He has a brain. He's a triple threat, really. He's got the wings. He has a house. He has a lot going on. Now, the only thing against him is that he only comes out once every so often, so you're kind of safe from Jeepers Creepers man, except for like, you know, every now and then. So when he comes out to feed... Okay, I don't know what just happened there. Anyways, you guys, let's get back to it. I hope that doesn't happen again. The next movie on the list is The Shining. It's Kubrick, guys. It's Kubrick, it's Jack Nicholson, it's Red Rum. Red Rum. Red Rum. How can you go wrong with The Shining? I don't know anybody on this planet Earth who loves horror movies who doesn't have The Shining on their list. I would have to side-eye you, sir or ma'am, if you did, because that is a classic. So, yeah. I mean, there's just too many scenes, I mean, just that close-up of Jack's face, you know, when he's like kind of turning into a psycho. Well, you know, some would argue that his character Jack Torrance was a psycho from the very beginning. You know, I mean, we could have a discussion, but let's not, because you know, for the sake of timing, and I have a bunch of things on this list. Okay, the next movie, The Exorcist. Just watched it last night. The Exorcist with Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn. Great horror film. It's only now that I'm in my 40s that I can actually watch that movie and not have trouble going to sleep at night. When I was younger, I just could not watch it at night and go to sleep because I just had like visions of her face, and I couldn't get past that. Just visions of her face and her voice and things the things she would say, but really just not even anything she said. It was really just looks that Reagan would give that would just creep me out. So yeah, I'm not like the throw up, the pea soup doesn't scare me or none of that. It's just like other little things in the movie that are scary, like when the priest first arrives to the house and they show like the long shot of him outside of the house, and then they show her like eyes, and it's sort of like her face and her eyes. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's scary. Okay. The next one's on here is a PG-13 film. I can't believe that this scares me as much as it does. It's keeping in the theme of possession, is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This movie is terrifying to me. Yeah, I don't play with the devil. I'm not a super religious person. I want to be. I'm somebody who wants to be more spiritual than I am. So that is like always something that I'm working on. So I'm not a religious person, but I want to be. But I guess I do have a healthy fear of the devil, and I just do. I don't know, that movie. And I also loved the filming of the movie, the way the director filmed it. Like the part where where they're showing her in her dorm room, and he has like all of the red things. Like there's like the red light on the clock, and then there's like, I think, a red chair, and I think her bedspread's red. I just that was really cool, I thought. And really brilliant actress. I mean, everybody in that movie did so well with their you know, their character. It's just believable. Oh my gosh, a scariest scene in that movie is when the priest leaves the house and she goes over to the piano and just starts playing that eerie music, that just dread feeling. Oh yeah, that's a scary one. Okay, the next one is, I gotta put the Halloween 1 and 2. Michael Myers. We have to add him. I personally think 2 is scarier than 1, mainly because it's set in a hospital, and I've been in the hospital many times, and there's just something about being alone in the hospital at night that's just scary. I don't know. Any horror movie set in a hospital is usually terrifying. I don't know what that is. Michael Myers himself doesn't scare me that much, but it's a tradition. Halloween, Michael Myers, it goes together like, you know, peanut butter and jelly. So, okay, the next movie on my list is American Werewolf in London. This is more of like horror with a little bit of comedy thrown in. It's an 80s movie. It's just one of those movies that every time it's on, I will sit and watch it. It's just a classic. It's got the whole scene where he turns into the werewolf. This was Michael Jackson's favorite horror movie. It is just great. I mean, you just have to see it. I can't even really explain that. It's a werewolf film, and it's really good. Okay, the next one is, I have a lot. Night of the Living Dead. George Romero's classic Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara. Yes, zombie films. I don't have a lot of zombie movies here. Yeah, I really don't. I'm more into the realistic horror. Oh, and also I didn't put any alien films on here because I just technically put that in sci-fi. This is horror. Obviously Aliens is one of the greatest films ever made. Alien is just the best with Sigourney Weaver, but I didn't put it on the list because I'm focusing on horror here. So just FYI. Anyways, the next ones I have on here is Hostel 1 and 2. Yes, I like them both. Hostel obviously is the better movie. It's Eli Roth. And I'm actually a big Eli Roth fan. I think he is underrated. I don't know why he doesn't get any love. He doesn't get enough, in my opinion. Hostel was just a great film. I remember when I first saw that, I was like, wow, this is different. This is going to be an instant horror classic, because I'm not really into torture porn at all, but I loved how he filmed that movie. First of all, there was a really long build-up, which I thought was great. I love long build-ups. Second, music and the score was really good when he would like do long shots of like the little town in Slovakia, and you know, the music. And I love Jay Hernandez. I love Jay Hernandez. Oh, Magnum. But yeah, I loved Hostel 1. I thought it was very shocking and very different. And yeah, I think it changed the game. A lot of people. Also, okay, let me just talk about 2 real quick. Now, a lot of people didn't like 2. A lot of people didn't see it. 2 is different. It focuses on the women. It's more for women. And yeah, I mean, I really like the first half of that movie. I feel like the build-up is the best part. When they start to get really brutal, and I like that less. I like that less than, I like Eli Roth's build-up, though. I think it's great. Also, again, eerie music, the festival, just that whole scene, you know, in Slovakia is just creepy. You can actually imagine rich people actually do this. I totally believe it. And just a little, you know, Eli Roth love here. I'm going to shout out Cabin Fever. Is a classic. The original Cabin Fever is a classic. It's got also a little comedy in there. So, and just real quick, if you want a movie that you probably haven't seen, Eli Roth's Aftershock is a roller coaster ride through hell. I mean, I don't know why this movie doesn't get any love. It is fantastic. Yeah, I loved Aftershock. So yeah, look that up if you get a chance. Okay, the next movie is the Blair Witch Project. I know a lot of people aren't gonna like this one. A lot of people didn't understand the Blair Witch Project. They thought it was stupid. They thought the camera was shaky. I get it, and everybody has their right to like it or dislike it. I remember when that movie came out. These filmmakers lived in my area. It was so exciting. That movie made like $100 million, and it was a phenomenon, and everybody was talking about it. And all my friends, and we watched it 1,000 times, and it was just Mike and Josh and Heather. Yeah, I know those people. Like, I don't know them in real life, but I mean, those were my people. That's like the classic Generation X horror film. Yeah, and you either love it or hate it. I love it. Okay, the next one I have is Wolf Creek. If you haven't seen Wolf Creek, I cannot even really describe this. You have to see it. Again, another movie with an amazing build-up, very long build-up, beautiful scenery of Australia. You get to liking the characters because you spend a lot of time with them in the beginning, so you're invested in their well-being. You don't want them harmed. And you know, when they run into this crazy guy from the outback, it is just horror ensues, and it's horrifying. Yeah, not for the faint of heart. Wolf Creek, not for the faint of heart. Okay, the next on the list is Rosemary's Baby. Rosemary's Baby. This is a genius. It's genius. It's classic. Perfect film from start to finish. The music, the scenery, the filming in the Dakota, the creepy Dakota, everybody's acting is on point. It's just, it's about a satanic cult. How it's like all of them witches. I don't know. I don't know how anybody can watch Rosemary's Baby and not think that it's a great film at the end. Whatever your feelings are about Polanski, you have to admit that that movie is just, it's one of the best. It's a classic. Okay. My next one is, I almost forgot to add this, Children of the Corn. The original Children of the Corn. Yeah, I don't think this makes a lot of people's list. I thought this was so good when it came out. Isaac and Malachi. I mean, who's scarier than that guy Isaac? What is his deal? Like, he is just so, he's like an older man in a little kid's body. It's so weird. And Malachi, just that crazy guy. I mean, he's just the whole movie. Just, I mean, kids just like getting brainwashed by this leader who tells them to kill their parents, and they kill all their parents, and there's no parents in the town, and then this couple comes into this town, and it's, I don't know, you guys, if you haven't seen that one, look it up. Okay, my next one is The Strangers. Another movie that either people hate or people love. If you're a horror fan, you may love it or you may think it was stupid. Yes, they made a bunch of mistakes in that movie. Yes, I understand that Liv Tyler and that dude, they do stupid things. Yeah, they don't, but ask yourself this. Do you know for certain what you would do in a situation like that? You're reeling from like a night that like was bad between you and your man or your woman, and then you come to this house in the woods and you're like there trying to, there's like weird energy, and then all of a sudden there's a knock on a door. Is Tamara home? Okay, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a long cat and mouse, like, they like mind torture them for a while. It's you don't really know when you first watch it. Is there anybody going to be, are they going to die? Are they going to get away? I mean, you don't know. And I just want to shout out, I'm not going to spoil anything in case you haven't seen it, but I just want to shout out The Strangers Pray at Night. I just saw that recently, and that's going right in my top 10 horror movie. That's going to be an underrated gem. Right now, people are like still criticizing it, but I think that it's nothing like the first one, except that the characters, come back. But that is a really good slasher film. I mean, if you're into like horror slash just scary, terrifying, murderous stuff, I think Strangers Pray at Night is right up your alley. Yeah, it's it's really good. Also, soundtrack score, excellent. There's something terrifying about a man in a mask playing 80s music and trying to kill you. I mean, I don't know why that's scary, but it is. Next one is Nightmare on Elm Street. I know that Freddy Krueger became a ridiculous character. They just like sort of ruined him. I don't know what happened there, but the first one was really good. It was like nothing you ever saw. It was very new type of horror film. Villain, a monster who comes to get you in your dreams. I mean, that was just new. Yeah, so that whole beginning part where his arms get really, really long and he like scrapes the side of the alleyway. Yeah, I still watch it. I love it. That's like, got the Johnny Depp in there and everything. It's yeah, it's not as scary to me anymore, but it's sort of just a tradition for me to watch it around this time of year. Okay, and the next one is Candyman. Oh yes, Candyman. Well, first of all, I love Virginia Madsen. I'm a huge fan of Virginia Madsen, and so of course I watched it for her, but I also watched it because it was a horror film. I mean, it's like great, Virginia Madsen and horror. How can you go wrong? Actually, you can go wrong because Haunting in Connecticut was trash. So you can't always mix your favorites with your favorite and get, you know, filet mignon. You can't. It's always, sometimes it's trash. But Candyman is not trash. It is very scary. It is super good. And you should give it a shot. You should give it a watch if you haven't seen it. And last but not least is Friday the 13th, 1 and 2. I think 1 and 2 are the best and the only Friday the 13th you should even, I do like the final chapter, but I really love 1 and 2 the best. 2 is actually even better than 1 in my opinion. It's scarier. Yeah. I loved when Jason just had the sack over his head. To me, that is scary. That's why The Strangers is so scary, because it's just like, it's not a gimmick. Somebody just wants to not be seen, and they found a sack, like a gunny sack, and they put it over their head, and they're coming after you with a knife to kill you. They're going to stab you to death, and you're not going to see them. And there's just something scary about the sack on the head. I don't know why. First one with Betsy Palmer is the classic, original, perfect. Anyways, that is not even, oh my gosh, you know what? I forgot. How did I miss this? Did I mention House of a Thousand Corpses? Yes, House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie film. I know a lot of people are going to put Halloween, the remake, or Devil's Rejects in their list, but to me, House of a Thousand Corpses is the Halloween time scary Rob Zombie film to watch, because it's set around Halloween. It's like Hallows Eve when it all starts, and in the movie you can sort of feel that it's that time. It has like the chilly weather and everybody's dressed appropriately, and it's sort of just like they have the candles lit, and it's Halloween time and you can feel it, and that's why I chose it instead of Devil's Reject. So that is it. That's really not it. I have 1,000, probably more horror movies that I want to tell you guys about. Most of them are indie. These were like the classics that I had to mention, you know, that I had to get on my list. And anyways, if you want an indie list of horror films that are indie that you probably haven't heard of, let me know in the comments and I will make that video. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what your favorite horror movies are in the comments, and I will see you soon. Bye!